Hello and welcome to episode 41 of my Stoney Plays show. My name is Andre and today I want to have a look at the tournament lists of the upcoming TTS tournament in Leipzig. It's time for a closer look. We start with the list of the jumper. I don't know if this is the correct English phrase, but in Germany this is the guy if an odd number of players show up, then there is usually somebody of the organizers who plays with in the tournament or who participates in the tournament. And so this is the list. The list is Allegiance Korn. There's a Platzegreiter who gives this aura of +1 attack and fearless, as far as I know. Then there is a Chaos Lord on the Demonic Mount. There's a Blood Stoker who, I'm not completely sure what he does. He pushes the guys forward, as far as I know. Select one Korn unit within 12. Add 3 to run and charge. And +1 to wound. Okay, so yes. And as you probably already see, this is sort of my tournament preparation for this. I'm not so likely to participate in the end because there is some family issues I have to probably attend on Sunday. So sadly, I most likely won't participate, but since there is a chance, I just prepare and so everybody else can see here what I would do if I would prepare for a tournament. And of course there is the Platzegreiter. Where is he? So he's an 18-inch bubble. Okay. Then we have two Slaughter Priests. They have this D6 mortal wound damage spell on a 3-up, I guess. And it has 16-inch range, if I'm not mistaken. And as you probably see or hear or will see, today I'm not filming in my usual place. It still looks the same. But in my living room, so there might be cats in this video, especially here, not here, where he just moved the green screen curtain. Okay. Then they have Killing Frenzy. Killing Frenzy is obviously one of their allegiance prayers, I guess. So let's see what Killing Frenzy does. +1 to hit. So he has two of them. And we will see that he will have Bronzed Flesh later on. Which gives +1 to save rolls. And this always persists until the next own hero phase. Okay, so 2 times Killing Frenzy to start with. Then he has 5 Blood Warriors, 10 Blood Reavers, so nothing really to write home about, I would say. Just the default configuration for Korn. And then he has 2 times 5 Chaos Knights and is at 1290. So this is his basic list, which he will have to use in all 3 games. And now for the first game, he adds 1 Slaughter Priest with Bronzed Flesh. Just talked about it. So he has now 3 times this. And the important thing is like 3 times the D6 mortal wounds. And he adds the Gore Pilgrims Battalion. I would say probably the most played Korn battalion because it's really, really good. And this explains the Blood Warriors and Blood Reavers. Because he has to take them. This does the following thing. Per Slaughter Priest of the battalion, so this would mean 3 here. He had 6, so another 18. So he has a 36-inch bubble around his Platzegreiter, which is enormous. So technically he hasn't to fear any morale phase here. And +1 attacks. Yeah. And they have to be in 8-inch when he opens the gate. Okay. And the Slaughter Priests reroll their prayer rolls. So a really solid list, I would say, so far. But there is no real hard killing power. The Knights are good, but not that good. They're not witch good. Okay. For 1800, he keeps the Gore Pilgrims and the Slaughter Priest and just adds another 5 Knights. So now he has 3 times 5 Knights. Okay. And for the 2000, he adds another Slaughter Priest. No, this is still the one. Okay, oh, he only goes up to 3 Slaughter Priests. Gore Pilgrims, of course, stay. And then he has 10 more Blood Reavers. Which, yeah, so he has now 20. And he has a 10 unit of Chaos Knights and 2 units of 5. Okay, so the main work here should be done by the Chaos Knights. He has some nice small screening units. But the Chaos Knights, probably we can have a look. Because I'm not that familiar with their stats. So what do they do? +1 to run a charge, +1 bravery. Then the sergeant has +1 to hit. Here 5+ feel no pain against mortal wounds. They have damage 2 in the charge, so you probably won't like to be charged by them. And they get -1 rend. Well, okay, this is quite good. Okay, therefore he has only 2 attacks instead of 3, but 2 times 2 is 4, like attacks times damage in the charge. And the other one is 3 times 1 is 1. But after the charge, they are not that good anymore. Okay, he gets probably +1 to wound and +1 to hit. But still, there are only 3 attacks. They cost like 18 per model. So at max 4 damage, but 4 up, 3 up. -1 bravery to other units within 3. Okay, nice bonus. But they are solid. Good solid list. And from my perspective, this is exactly what the jumper list should be. A solid list. It's fun to play against. They have some chances of winning against not so good opponents, but it's not like the top tier list. So really, really good jumper list, I would say. I would like to play against this, and not because I would be winning, because it would be a fun game. And this is what the jumper should do. Okay, the first list we skip here, because we will come back to this later. And start with the second list, which is by El Poo. And he plays a Grot Spider boss on Gigantic Spider for 100 points, and a Ragnarok for 280 with a Shaman, and then Moonclan Grots, 20, 40, 20. 2 times with barbed nets and spears, so -1 to hit here. And 1 with short bows, most likely, Moonclan bows. Okay. 5 cave squigs, 1 spear chucker, 2 squig herders, 10 Uruk art boys. This is okay. Lots of bodies, 80 bodies, 90 bodies on the table. So good in the objective play, but no real hard damage dealers so far. We could look probably shortly at the Ragnarok Spider. which like costed me the best general in the second to last mini-mosh, because the destruction move here is quite important. She moves like 8 inches, and you can like double this with the destruction move. She has a spell that doubles the mortal wounds of herself, so she's quite good against tough armor stuff, because she has 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s, and if you roll a 6 with a hit, it does D3 mortals immediately, and yeah, this gets doubled. And I guess I don't see any artifacts here, sadly. Okay. Maybe he can get +1 to hit still. I guess this is still a thing. This is in the core book, I guess. The newest allegiance abilities. So the destruction, allegiance ability, and artifacts, especially. I guess it's this old eye or something like this. Here's order, here is chaos, here's destruction, rock eye. Pick an enemy unit within 12 of the barrier until your next hero phase. Add 1 to hit rolls made for the barrier when they target the unit you picked. Okay, so this is on a 5-up, 4 attacks on a 5-up. Quite okay. And on a 5 or 6 then, so to speak, he does 2d3 mortal wounds. The command ability of the Grot Boss on Gigantic Spider does this on a 5-up, so this is on a 4-up. So hitting on 2s on a 4-up, he does 2d3 mortal wounds. So on average, he will do 8 mortal wounds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 8 mortal wounds. So you have to be cautious around this thing. Yeah. Then, what does he has next? What I don't like really here is the spear checker, because he's alone, and one spear checker usually doesn't do that much. You want to play them in 2s. Let's have a short look at the Grot Herders, probably. Cave Squids, Grot. So the Cave Squids hit on 4s, wound on 3s. But if the herder is near, they get +1. So they hit on 4s, wound on 3s. But these are like 5 Cave Squids. I don't really see where there should be that much damage. They do D3 damage. Okay, so sort of 2 attacks, 4 3s. So each one does 1 damage, on average even less. Unless the herder does something weird. Where are they? They are here. Okay, they are harder to hit, but I don't really have any fear here. Mangler Squigs, probably a different topic. They have 6 attacks, hits on 2, wound on 3s. So average might be 3 to 4 hits, -1 rend, 2 damage. Okay, this is solid. Chain balls, 2d6 hits, so 7, let's say. Hit on 4s, wound on 3s. So maybe 2, -2, 3 damage, though they deal damage. But they have 10 wounds on a 5-up. They have a random movement. Okay. Another solid thing here for the first And of course 3 Growth Fanatics for the first match here. So okay, he probably hides 1 in each, so you can't really charge, but I guess you can work around this. Okay, so he has to select a unit to put the Fanatics into. At the start of any attack charge phase, you can let them free, put them up in 1 inch of the unit. They then may charge. So technically what you have to do to work around the Fanatics is like, if this is the enemy line, then you put a lot of your models like in 3 inch, and then if this Fanatics jumps in, charges here, you could still pile in the 3 inches towards the other unit. If these are the nearest models, and you will make it so. So the 3 inches left and right of the Fanatic might not be able to charge, so you have to have at least probably a 7 inch wide charge. But yeah, and this is then important to have wide charges, like really long lines next to each other that are wider than 7 inches, because then you could work around the Fanatics. Otherwise they always cost you 1 round of combat, and this is often crucial. And yeah, you get the bribe net, so you hit with -1, which is bad enough. Yeah, so or you have multiple charges, like I guess the FAQ told that you have to release all the squigs at once and can't all the Fanatics at once and can't hold back any. So if you set up 2 units to charge within 3 inches, then you, at the start of the phase, he has to release them. So he has to pick the unit he wants to release them into. And you can then charge with the other one. This would be another solution to dodge this, because yeah, but maybe he can put them anywhere he wants. Let's look this up. Yeah, this is like the important stuff to do, I guess, because if I would play against such a thing, I would want to know what's going on here. Okay, here's nothing, and commentary. Okay, so he can place them within the same unit, but he has to release them at the same time. And this would mean that if he has 2 in the unit, he could block 2 of my units to charge him with this. So probably he puts them all into the same, so this is always the gamble then. Yeah, still a wide charge ranges. With 2 in a unit, it has to be really wide charge range. Maybe his unit isn't even that wide. So not a good thing to happen. The other solution would be to have something to really get bonuses to charge, and then don't close up on him. He has to put the Fanatics within 1 of the units, so he has a 1 inch base, I guess. So Fanatics within of the unit. Okay, so he gains sort of 2 inches. So if you have +3 to charge, you could say, okay, I stay at probably 10 inches, so I have a 7 to charge, and I'm willing to, I have a hero nearby, which he most likely will not, next to the Grot Fanatics. So you stay at 10 inches, risk the 7-inch charge with a reroll, because he then has a 7-inch charge with the grots. And if he doesn't make this, then you could charge. One solution. But this only really works if you have rerolls and a big bonus to your charge, which is rare. Gabriel. Or something like this, yeah. For dodgers, probably just go wide and charge like everything. My solution. Next thing, for the second game, he still keeps the Mangler Quicks and the 3 Grot Fanatics and adds a Grot Shaman. I guess this one. This has this exploding spell. So select a unit with an 18. That unit gets D3 mortal wounds. Cast on an 8, but he can eat a mushroom for +2, so cast on a 6 most likely. Then roll a die for each unit within 6. At 4, this unit also gets D3 mortal wounds, so you really have to space out them if you don't have like buff areas. And let's see, I guess the Daughters of Cain stuff always has like 3 inches for the fearless and rerolling wounds buff. So you can't really space this out, and you will eat damage here. Okay. And another spear checker. So now he has 2. And if he has 2 spear checkers, they get as a bonus +1 to hit on heroes already. So they hit on 4s. They have 1 attack. No, these are the crew. So they hit on 3s heroes, -1 because of hero, so still on 4s. They have 2 attacks, so 4 attacks hitting on 4s against heroes. Let's say 2, so wounding on 3s, -2 D3 damage. And he can reroll hits if there are 2 next to each other. So 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, rerolling. +1, -1. The +1 against heroes is really, really good here. So he might hit wound 2, -2, so I most likely won't have any armor on my hags if they are not in cover, and do D3 damage, which might kill them. Let's say he does 6, and the hags have, I guess, 5 wounds, if I'm not mistaken. I've not played my hags quite a while. Yes, they have 5 wounds. So this is really a problem. Let's see what they have defensively. So 1 is sort of, I don't really care, but 2 are getting a problem. 36-inch range. So you could target the crew, which are 3 grots with a 6-up save, I guess. Yeah, because they have different profiles. This is probably a good target for hard renders. As is probably the Platzecrator, which I want to look from the previous list. This I had forgot. Like this corner list we talked before really falls if the Platzecrator dies. So what does he have defensively? He has 5 wounds on a 3-up, so quite good. Most likely will not. I only play 5 hard rangers, so this usually won't work out, like 99% of the time. But the spear checkers are a good target. And for the full list, he plays the Mankless Quick, the Grot Fanatics, the Shaman, the Spear Checker. He plays 5 Grothoppers and 1 Doom Diver catapult, so even more artillery. So artillery combined with fanatics is, I think, quite a good combination. A lot of bodies on the board, so this is not fun to play against. I don't think that daughters are on the downside here, and it's fun to play against daughters. Completely different story. But ranged attacks in this massiveness, and yeah, the fanatics and a lot of bodies that you can probably make fearless with command points is a hard nut to crack for some armies. So 3-up, 3-up, -1 D3 damage. The range is 6 to 50. He has -1 to hit and don't get +1 to hit. So he 4-up, 3-up, 1 attack. Yeah, so this is like hitting on a third. So on a 5-up he does some damage to me too. Yeah, okay. I would have probably preferred another spear checker. Same price, just better, I would say. Especially if you group them up. Yeah, 5 Grots Quick Hoppers. What do they do? I don't know exactly. So they have in some 3 attacks maybe hitting 1. Maybe 1 will do damage with -1 damage. So if they roll a double on the charge, they have 4 attacks instead of 2. Okay, this then gets serious, but you only roll a double 1/6 of a time, so too unreliable. Another like, and they are all slow, I guess, right? Like there are some things out there like the Grothoppers, the Grothoppers, the Squig Hoppers, and the Cave Squigs that move 5, 2d6 to random 3d6. Okay, this is quite nice. The Grots move 5, though. Okay, they are not that slow, but they can't run and charge. But they get +2 to run with if they have a standard. Yeah, but in the end, a nice list, a fluffy list. I quite like the list. It's a nice list, but not top tier, of course. Let's continue. The next Distraction player, der Grieche. So he plays Frostlord and Stonehorn. Let's get my book for this. It's always the book at the bottom, of course. And Beastclaw on the bottom of my stack of books here has some reason. I have a full Beastclaw army, but not played them in quite a while. So he has as trophy the Everwinter's Master. Oh, that's not his trophy, this is his general ability, right? Okay, so he can reroll his Everwinter thing. Artifacts, token of the Everwinter. He can reroll hit and wound rolls and save rolls once. Okay, 420 points. And then he has... wait, what? He has 2 Mornthon packs, 3 Gork Hunters, 3 Gork Rantras, Bragoth Beasthammer, and Thunder Tusk Beast Riders for the first list. So he has 1 Snowball. So main issue with this list is like focus on the Beast Riders to get some damage through there. As soon as they have, I guess, 3 damage. They are much less effective because they go from a flat 6 to a d6 mortal wounds that they can project in an 18-inch bubble, and they can move before. Yeah, they can move before, though they have a threat range of 26 inches, which is enormous. Yeah, you have to fear this. But you only have to deal 3 damage, and this is where Heartrenders will be great. Hopefully they can deal 3 damage to this thing. Frostlord on Stonehorn runs and charges, and he moves quite far. Without Everwinter features, he moves 12 runs. You could pick a 6, so you are at 18. So you must think of what will happen if this Stonehorn charges me first turn. So you have to set up a screen here on deployment. And then he has the Bragoth Beasttamer, which is quite a nice battalion, I would say. I really like it. Sadly, overall, I don't think this will hold up because he has too few bodies to win objective games. But okay, so let's say what Bragoth Beasthammer does. So his general has +1 wound, and as long as they are within 6 inches of each other, the Gore Grunters and all units in this battalion, which will be everything except the Beast Riders, the Thundertusk Beast Riders, will get +1 to hit, which is enormous because most of them hit on force. So this is like 33% more damage. But still, it's not enough. It's not enough, sadly. I would like this to work, but it will not, I guess. For the next list, he kicks out the Thundertusk Beast Riders and switches to a Huskard on Thundertusk, which is which can then heal. So he heals. Yeah, heals D3. So even if you kick him down 3 wounds, he might heal up D3. So to be safe, you have to kick him down 6 wounds. He's on a 4-up, and the Beast Riders are 2. So this is doable. Yeah. He has a Vulture, okay, of course. And then he has a Pelt. What does the Pelt do? I guess he can reroll his healing, which only happens on a 4-up, I guess. Oh no, it's another heal spell. So on a 1, 2, 3, you heal 1 wound. On a 4 to 6, you heal another D3 wounds. And you might heal another 3 from your ability Schneesturmsprecher, so Blizzard Speaker, something like this. Yeah, it's only in a 4-up, and you have to pick the unit within 18, so he can do this on the Frostlord. The Frostlord has this ability that it halves the damage characteristics of each weapon, rounding up. So it doesn't do anything to my daughters, usually. Mind Razor, of course, is useless against him, but who cares? It's just too few wounds here in this list. Okay, and for the full army, he sticks with the Huskard and Thundertusks, adds the Mournfang, which he removes the Mournfang, which he added intermediately for the second list, and replaces them with the Beast Riders again from the first list. Wait. No, he doesn't remove the Mournfang pack. He adds another Mournfang pack and 2 Frost Sabers. Okay, yeah, there is one thing that really deals damage, which is the Frostlord, and then he has 2 Thunder Tusks in the final list. So this is 12 mortal wounds, which is scary, but he usually can't screen this well. So you set up 26.1 inches away, and then usually he will come towards you. Like you set up 26.1 inches away with all your important like buff characters and stuff, and then build a chain to your units, move them up, because 6 mortal wounds on witches or something like this doesn't really hurt you. And this only works on a 4-up, so 12 mortal wounds is like 25% chance that he can do this. And then he has to close the gap, because you will hold objectives here that are in the middle of the board, like in all the games, I guess. And this means he will be in reach of whatever you pushed forward. Yeah. And then you will just usually, sadly, you will like easily defeat him, I guess. Just too few wounds, he won't be able to hold on any objectives. There is one mission with the heroes. Okay, here the Frostlord and Stonehorn is quite good if you could screen him, but with what do you want to screen him? You have at best 4 Mournfang packs, 2 Frost Sabers, and 6 Gorgranters, which isn't enough to really screen him for long enough. Like, the Mournfangs have 6 wounds each, I guess. Yes, they have a 4-up save. So this is just 12 attacks. So 6 witches would kill him, usually, even without Mind Razor. And he has 8 of them. So 50 witches just delete all of his Mournfang in one round, even without any significant buffs, except Witch Brew, of course, which they always have. Yeah. So again, a really, really nice list. I really would like this list to work, but sadly too few buddies and won't do enough damage except the Frost Lord. So sadly, I don't see this on top tables. Next list. Another destruction list. So the third destruction list. Destruction is obviously quite popular here. This one has the Iron Fist, which is the one with D6 movement, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, should be. Everything else would make no sense. Yeah, so he gets D plus D6 movement with the Gorgranters. He has Gordrak to buff plus 2 damage, and I guess he can only do this once. This is another thing you probably should look up front. Let's see if we can find out what Gordrak does in the meantime. You can use this command ability once per battle in your hero phase. If you do so, pick a friendly destruction unit within 24 of Gordrak. Okay, so this only works once. Huge downside compared to the other Mega Boss ability. He has a War Chanter, which is his general. Okay. He gets the Boss Skewer, which I guess is the thing that gives +1 or +2 +1 or +2 bravery, and he's Prophet of the Walk, so he can walk now. So he could technically. Wait a second. Iron Trust. This is in the General's Handbook. What does he get with Prophet of the Walk? Okay, so yeah, this guy can walk, and he has, I don't know, 3 times 3 Gorgranters. Yes. And for the first game, he adds to this 5 brutes, and this is it, I guess. And a Mega Boss. 5 brutes and a Mega Boss. So, okay, he has now 2 guys that can walk each round. He still keeps the Iron Fist. Yeah, Gordrak is good, but and he can use this his ability on the whole formation. So all the Gorg Runters will get +2 attacks. They are quite scary then. Like, don't mistake me. They really do work. Let's see what they will be. So let's assume he still gets off another walk for some reason, which technically in the first turn he shouldn't, because then he's too far back. But for the sake of argument, assume he gets +3 attacks, which means the guys on top will have 6 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s, -1, so each one does 3 damage already. And the hooves go to 7 attacks, 4, so 2. So each Gorg Grunthead has sort of 5 damage before armor. And he has like 9 of them, so this is 45 damage, which from my perspective should kill like 1 screening unit. Like 1 unit of Grots, 1 unit of the cheap blood guys from Khorne, 1 unit of Witches, the smallest one. But then after this, his power is sort of gone. He won't survive the counter charge. He probably will want to be first. Yeah, let's see. The Beast Claws have a lot of drops, I thought, but then he has a battalion, so he has only like 2 drops, 3 drops, 3 drops, 1, 2, 2 drops, 3 drops, 6 drops. Okay, the Moonglands have a lot of drops, like infinite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they have 10 drops, and my list has 10 drops. So they might be in a position to, depending on the roll here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, he has 11 drops. Okay, here I could pick against the others. And I really wouldn't care. I would let him start, because he's slow and probably has only his 1 spear chucker. I don't fear. If he has 2 spear chuckers, I probably would set up correspondingly and just still let him start. Against the Godric list, same thing. Set up a screen, let him start, or he will. If he lets me start, I have to have a quite wide screen, so probably a unit of 30 witches to really go straight through the board, and move them up so he can't pass and has to charge them and will delete them, no questions asked. But he won't survive the echo, I guess. If he has 2 turns, then you probably should set up 2 units of witches, like 1 in front and the second one like more than 3 inches behind, so they don't have to pile in and could not be piled in. And usually his Godrak is too slow and has a too huge base to jump over and come to somehow to the second unit. He has no, he won't have a destruction move because he will be forced in Iron Jaws. But still he has a destruction move from the Iron Jaws ability. But the Iron Jaws ability, and this is important, again, probably doesn't work on him. Let's see. For your general and each friendly Iron Jaws unit, add 2 to the roll if your general... So he only gets +2 to the roll if the general is a mega boss, and his general obviously is not. So he's fishing for 6s here. But if he gets it, he might be able to jump over this. So probably what you have to do is like I guess he will set up Godrak quite in the middle of the board. So if you string out 30 witches and another 30 witches and another like 20 witches or something like this, then he won't be able to land his huge base, and it's probably not, he can't reach the edges. So probably you have to clap the edges, so he can't really reach them here. If you have to move up, so if I, again, here I don't want to start, but he has less drops. So let's see, for the second game, he adds another unit of brutes, okay. Just flat that. And for the last game, he adds another unit of art boys and another war chanter. Okay, so one trick pony. Again, a fun list to play against. Like, I really want to play against all of these lists. And this player, his name is Ausgemaxt. Okay, maybe his list is maxed out for Iron Jaws. I don't think so, but it's a fun list to play against. Same for the Beastclaw and same for the Grots. Yeah, they will have nice games here, obviously. Next is a list of Barg, another destruction list. This is tournament destruction, as it seems. He will play a Tyrant with the Great Gut Gorger. Wait, where is my destruction? This thing is, I guess, scary, if I remember it correctly. Great Gut Gorger, 3 attacks, 3 up, 3 damage, -2 rent. Okay. He has the Might is Right and Rock Eye. Okay, so he gets +1 to hit. And what does the Might is Right do? Wait, this is General's Handbook. I want this this book. Where is it? Destruction. The Might is Right. Add 1 to wounds roll for the general's melee weapons. So he has 3 attacks, hits on 2s, wounds on 2s, -2, 3 damage. So it's not like unlikely that he will do 9 damage with this. And he has this name, which might add another 1 to wound, which is like not relevant then. Might go up to a move 8. Might go up to a 3 save. Might go up to 9 wounds. Okay, quite a scary guy. But in the end, yeah, he's hit a tough thing, but not up to with the real bad stuff in this game currently. Then the Butcher, which has like 33% chance to give another Ogre unit within 14 inches +1 to hit. And he has this thing to cast on a 7, which does d3 damage and just goes on and on and on as long as you roll up a 4+, which against some people is really scary. Yeah. Then 6 ogres, 3 ogres, 6 iron guts. Is his first list, I guess? No, this is the base list. Okay, the ogres, 3 up, 3 attacks, 4 up, 3 up, 2 damage. So 3 ogres have 9 attacks. So they do probably 6 damage, which is not that good. If they get +1 to hit, it helps them, but it's hard to get it. And they have Iron Fists. So if they roll a 6 on the save, they reflect 1 mortal wound, but there are so few guys, and they have, okay, this is like 24 wounds on this things, and I have to pause for a second. So, sorry for that. One of our cats is at the vet currently, but she's well up and everything will be fine. But now I shortly have to communicate before I can go on here. Okay, so I'm back. Let's see. So 26 ogres, 6 ogre, 3 ogres. Then he has the lead belchers. No, I've left my book over here. The lead belchers. They have 12-inch range, 12 moves, so 6 moves, so 18-inch range. They have D3 attacks. So overall, like 6 guys, D3 attacks, so 12 attacks, hitting on 4s, wounding on 3s, so 4. They do overall 4 damage at max. So if they don't move, which is most likely not to happen because you just stay out of 12 of them. So if you fail a charge against them, then they are really, really hurtful because then they do D6 damage, which sort of close to doubles their damage, then goes up to 8 for both units. But still, I don't fear this. Still a nice list to play against, but not top tier. Let's see, the Iron Guts, there are only like 6 Iron Guts here. And there is another cat, now in picture. They have 3 attacks, 4 up, 3 up. So most likely 1 with 3 damage per model. So might do 18 damage. So this is in a scary territory. So they have this banner which lets further models flee. That absorbs like magic on a 6 up, so or protects from magic. Okay, and then they have this ability to once per turn per game add 1 to hit and wound rolls. Then we are talking 3 up, 2 up is like 1.5, so 4.5 damage per model. So we are going up to 27 damage, and they still can get another +1 to hit of the cauldron from the butcher. So 2 up, 2 up. Yeah, so we are like passing 30 damage of these 6 models, which is scary. Yeah, you don't want to let them activate first against you, but they move sticks and they can't run out charge, which witches can. So, and they have like 24 wounds on a 4-up. So, like a block of witches deletes them easily, I would say. Yeah. Even without Mind Razor, just with Witch Brew, I guess. Yeah. Again, quite a nice list. Fun to play against. And for his intermediate list, wait, this is the 1006. Yeah, for his intermediate list, he adds Mega Boss on Maw Crusher. What? Which has sort of no interactions here because this only works for his command ability only works on Ironjaw. It's just a huge thing to have. Okay, so there is quite some beating here in this list. And for his final list, what does he change here? He starts with 6 Iron Guts, then removes 3, adds the Maw Crusher, and then adds the 3 Iron Guts again. Okay. Yeah, so quite a beady list. Fun to play against, but still I don't see this on top table here. So now the list of Ben. No, of Walk, it's called here. I'm not sure which list this is. Maybe of the guy I know from the local store here. But I don't know. Let's see. He plays again Destruction, Mega Boss on Maw Crusher, Ironclad, solid pick, Metal Ripper's Claw. What the heck is Metal Ripper's Claw? Why don't I know this? General's Handbook. This is -1 rend. This I don't get. Usually a +1 damage, which is Destroyer, is better than -1 rend. But okay. Then he plays a War Chanter and a Weird Knob Shaman. Okay, solid picks. He plays an Iron Fist, of course. He plays 10 Arc Boys, 5 Brutes, 3 Gorg Hunters, 10 Arc Boys, 3 Gorg Hunters. So quite a mix. I don't know exactly what he wants to do with this. Like he's not like the one trick of Ironjaws to run over and charge first turn. He wants to play it out, and I don't think Ironjaws have the power to do this against top tier lists. Okay. And okay, he adds, what does he add? A Mega Boss and removes Art Boys and adds Brutes, I would say, and removes Gorg Hunters and adds Brutes. Yeah, still okay. He wants to play with a lot of Brutes, obviously here, 15 Brutes in the second list. And a Mega Boss, which gets the Golden Tooth. What is the Golden Tooth? This is... he will sit within the Brutes, so they don't have to take Battle Shock tests. Quite nice. And for the final list, he probably... What? He plays 2 Maw Crushers. Okay. He removes some Brutes again and to fit in another Maw Crusher. And the second one has then Destroyer. Okay, finally, okay, he wants to play Destroyer, but on this guy, not agreeing here. But besides from that, another really cool list, fun to play against. Like these, we have now looked at Ironjaws, Ogres, Ironjaws, Beast Claw, Grots, so 5 times Destruction. These 5 guys will have fun, I guess, during this tournament. They have cool lists, and they sort of, from my point of view, are on the same power level. Now, this is my list. We will talk about this later. Another destruction list. What the fuck is going on here? This time, we are back to the Beastclaw Raiders. Huskard and Stonehorn. 4 Mournfang, 4 Mournfang. And I would have expected now... No? A battalion, but he doesn't have it. So he still plays the Beast Thunder Tusk Beast Raiders. So he fulfills everything to get this one. There's another quite good battalion here, which he has all the components to build it, but he doesn't. And this is the... Oh no. He has a Huskard and Stonehorn. Okay, and then he has Thunder Tusk Beast Riders. Okay, this doesn't work out. He wants to have the Thunder Tusk Beast Riders. Okay. General, Vulture, okay. Everwinter's Master, of course. Pelt, we've talked about this too. The Icebrow Hunter. I don't really see what function does he have here. Like, can he pop up without the battalion? I don't think so. No, he can. But this is his move. So he can deep strike 9 inches away. He can then throw his spear for d6 damage, but it's only 1, of course, and hitting on 4s, wounding on 3s, so like a 33% chance. And his reach, no, he has to run for this, and this he can't do if he deep strikes. And he has 9 inch and has to set up more than 9 inch away. So if he deep strikes down, he can't throw his spear, sadly. So next round he runs and throws his spear. Okay, this then does some damage. No, not completely sold on this guy. But he has a butcher. And this, I think, is quite a good addition if you pick this as an ally, because his +1 to hit ability would be really nice to have on some of the bigger beasts. And from my point of view, this should be possible to add there or to buff. Yeah, you just have to pick an Ogre unit, and I guess all of these bigger monsters here are ogres. Of course. Yeah, they are. So 4 Mournfang, Huskard on Stonehorn, which is not as threatening as the how is it called, the big guy? It's not in here. The Frost Lord, because he doesn't have the spear, and the spear is like a damage potential of 12, most likely doing 6 of them. So this 6 damage he's missing here, but most likely wouldn't have. Probably I would remove the hunter and switch to the big guy, but the hunter. Like, the hunter is only 1 model, which you can deep strike, and if your opponent, you could threat with this, like backfield markers, but from my understanding in this tournament, there is no backfield marker because they are always in the center of the board, so the deep striking isn't that good, and for that reason, the hunter isn't that good, and even if there would be a scenario like this, it's only 1 model, which has to keep out of 9, so you won't touch it. And with 1 model, you have to kill whatever currently holds this objective. And he's not that scary. He has 4 attacks, 4 up, 3 up. So most likely only doing 2, probably 4 damage in a melee round. So in one round he usually doesn't kill anything there. Only if he runs and throws his spear, he has the ability to do this, but it's like a 33% chance then. So even then, it's not reliable enough. You could say you play 2 of them, but I don't see it. Okay, let's see what he will add for 1,800 points. He adds another hunter and 2 frost sabers, so and keeps the Thunder Tusk Beast Riders, of course, and adds the Quicksilver swords. Okay, this is what the Beast Claw Raiders miss. Quite a good addition, like the Butcher and the swords. I like this. The second hunter, now we're talking a bit like if both get their charge off, you could like smash a lonely model guarding an objective. But still, it's not good enough in the end to play on top tables. And for 2,000 points, he removes the hunter and the frost sabers and he removes the hunter again and adds 2 Thunder Tusk Beast Claw Raiders. So now we're again at like 2 times 4 up for 6 mortal wounds. Oh no, wait. This is not on 4 up. This is on 2 up. Yeah, on 2 up. So yeah, quite some damage coming here within like 26-inch range. So this is threatening. And this is an ability, so he can even run and use this. So technically what he could do is like move 8, run 6, so he's at with a command point. Okay, high price, but why not? So he's at 14, and then he has 18-inch range. So we are at 32 inches, so you have to deploy 32.1 inches away. And usually, yeah, in this tournament there's always the classical setup, so you can always do this with your like buff characters, and you should do, and then you probably should have a screen, because at least the Stonehorn will come rampaging over to you, probably in first turn if he's not so smart. If he's smarter, he keeps him back and comes together with the 8 more things. Yeah, and then another nice list, I would say. Okay, now the first not destruction list we are talking here this afternoon. For this I probably want my Nagash book. Where is it? There are too many books. Legions of Nagash. Okay, he plays, and I forgot his name. This is Goldwyn. He plays Vampire Lord, which has one nice ability, which is +1 attack. Question is this limited? Let's see. Is this Errata, or is this... How is this ability called? You can't pick the same unit more than once, so you could use it more than once in a phase, but not on the same unit. Important thing. Then he has Neferata and a Necromancer. Necromancer has this important ability to attack and pile in twice. Let's see if I find him. It's a cast on a 6. Yeah, only works in summonable units within 18. Yeah, you can pile in an attack twice. So +1 attack and pile in an attack twice is already scary. The Necromancer has only 5 wounds and a 6 up, so he's like threadable with small things. And 40 skeletons, and let's see, the skeletons are at the first view not that scary, but 40 of them, I guess, get scary quite fast if I find them. Yeah, they have most likely, what do they have? Is it written down? They have spears, so they can attack out of 2 ranks, which makes sense in this big of a unit. They have only 1 attack to start with, hitting on 5s, wounding on 4s, so not that good, you think? But if they are within 18 of the other death heroes, there are some, they get +1, so they hit and wound on 4s, and they get +2 attacks if they are 30 or more. So so they are at like 3 attacks. They get another one from the vampire, thus they are at 4 attacks. Hitting on 4s, wounding on 4s, so they get one through. So they do 40 damage and do this twice, which is 80 damage, which is really, really, really scary if this goes off, this combo, but why not? I don't see why not. Let's see what else do we have. 5 direwolf, okay, some chaff, 5 direwolves, another chaff, 10 black knights. These are the riders, if I'm not mistaken. Where are they? Corpse skirt, zombies. I'm not that familiar with with this book. Where are the black knights? Here they are. They have 2 attacks, 3 up, 4 up, 1 damage. Okay, 2 attacks, 4 up, 5 up, 1 damage. If they have charged, they are up on 3 up, 3 up. And get +1 damage. So each of them does 2 damage on average. -1 rend, they ignore. They always charge at least 6 inches. They move 12 and charge. Okay, they are a bit scary. So they do 20 damage, which is okay. You can usually deal with this. But the skeletons are the really scary thing. And there is still Neferata we have to talk about. Then let's do this next. As usual for this Mortarx, she has 11 wounds, 4 up safe. So not that tough. She can heal 2 if she kills a model in the melee phase. So she has an insta kill on a 6 up, so quite scary for big stuff like a cauldron. She can heal D3 wounds, okay, for 4 units from summables, so there are skeletons coming back. She has 2 spells. First one is Dark Nebula or something like this. Again, translating from my German book. I only buy the new box in English. My old ones are all in German. So casting value of 6. Pick a death unit within 18. So ignore any modifiers to save rolls for them. Which, okay for herself probably, but I don't really see there any big use of this. Let's see. Like the Black Knights have a 5 up, the skeletons even, I don't think that they have even that. If I again would find the skeletons. No, they only have a 6-up, so not that big of a deal. So she has a Twilight Allure, so she can activate this, and then all enemy units within, let's say, 15 inches get -1 to hit. This is quite bad, but she has to spend 1 command point, and yeah, there is no like battalion involved here right now, so she can only get back her skeletons or do this. She plays Grand Host of Nagash. Because of Neferata. He most likely plays Grand Host of Nagash. And okay, let's see, what does he have as artifact? Ossific Diadem. I don't know what this is. Let's have a look at all the Nagash artifacts then. Okay, heal a wound, not so good. Reroll successful casts and -1 to wound within 6 inches. Yeah, okay, nice, but not overwhelming. Okay, then some D3 mortal wounds on any hero on the 4-up each turn, another one. Not scared of this. 6-up, feel no pain. Maybe this is this. Yeah, most likely this is this. So he can give the skeletons a 6-up, feel no pain. And of course they will have another 6-up, feel no pain. From this Legion ability. So 40 guys, 6-up armor, 6-up, 6-up. So a lot of 6-ups. This adds up. On the other hand, you probably don't like to kill the skeletons, because then a full unit of 40 might come back. So what you technically would like to do is like kill them, not completely, but so there's only one left. Problem is they have to do battle shock, because there's no Nagash here, and if they do battle shock, they most likely will run off. Yeah, they have bravery 10, yeah, but so technically you probably would kill like 15 of them, so they do a battle shock test, maybe roll a 6, so 21 will run away, happy case, so there are 9 left, and so they have no huge bonus on anything left. So killing 15 skeletons seems like a good idea. Around this, don't kill more, I would say. With 15 he loses at least 1 tier, probably he will, but if you kill 20 he will most likely completely run off the table. So it goes to 26, so another 16 run. No, 20 is a good number. You want to kill 20 of the skeletons. Or 21, let's see. But this you don't have in your hand, because this is dependent on his roll. Yeah, something around this. I would say 21 skeletons killed is good. So this would mean around 40 damage because of 6-up, 6-up, 6-up. So yeah. So I would like to not move more than 20 witches into this fight of the skeletons. Keep the other ones out, usually. And with the other ones probably start blocking grave sites. or something like this. Okay, so this is his artifact. His trait is Lord whatever. Okay, add 1 to attacks. Okay, so his Vampire Lord will be stuck within the skeletons to give them another 1 attack. Though they are like at technically 10 attacks now. Which is scary. With a double pile in. Phew. They delete stuff. 10 attacks. 4 up, 4 up. 2.5. 1 will go through. So 2.5 times. So there are 100 damage coming through. So even if you are an Iron Jaw and you have a 4 up save, you will get 50 wounds, which sort of instantly deletes like a 10 unit of brutes easily, or a 10 unit of, or a 20 units of art boys still easily deleted. So these skeletons are really, really ugly. And there are skeletons coming back, at least like D3. If you roll a 5 up, and then the Neferata ability, and I guess the Necromancer and the Vampire Lord have these abilities too. Let's see. Yeah, so there are another D3 coming back, and another D3 coming back, so probably 4 D3, so maybe 8 models return. So it's really hard to yeah, so to get in the right spot here, because if 8 models return and there are like 12 left over, it still gets bad. So probably you want to delete them all the time, if you go in, but you have to do like 80 wounds, which is hard. Okay. And if they fight in your gravesite, there is another D3 coming back. So he can pick 2 points in his territory and 2 points in my territory. So he can leave them off the board. But why do this? So the clue is to get the death heroes off the gravesites. So what does he have as heroes? The Necromancer, the Vampire Lord, and Neferata. So main goal will be like punch through, but this is hard because he has like 2 times the dire wolves, which are like on small ovals, I guess. So they can screen quite good. He has 10 Black Knights, which can screen sort of the same. They are most likely on big ovals, like the bigger 1 ovals. Okay, so he has Soul Snare Shackles, of course. This is the reason why I have Medusa, not to get rid of Soul Snare Shackles. He has a Mortis Engine, which does the following thing. Okay, they can fly, blah, 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 blah. Then they have some Scream, which does D3 mortal wounds, okay.
Okay, then they like have this explosion thing, which heals 3 and sorry, and does D3 mortal wounds. Yeah, and then it gets +1 to cast. So I'm not really sold on this. How much does this cost? 180, probably for 180 it's okay. 12 wounds, 4 up, damage. Should come from this Whale of the Damned thing. So you only want to move 1 unit within 9 inches of this, but not really sold on this Mortis engine. The rest of so far looked quite good. I'm not sure on small things, but the rest looked really good. And we probably should look what spells are in play here. Let's see. These are artifacts. Where are the spells? Okay, so the Vampire Lord has amethystine pinions. Okay, he can fly. Not sure if this is a good pick. Maybe he wants to get away once the skeletons are dead. So he wants to fly. Then it would make sense. Okay, Neferata has no spells listed here, which is strange. So technically she won't get any spell. Probably this guy should pick another spell for Neferata, I would say. Or can she pick like everything? I doubt. This would be too good. Especially since no realm spells are in play here. She can cast twice. Yeah, so the spells for Neferata are missing here. So what has the Necromancer? Overwhelming Dread. Yeah, -1 hit, of course. And if you roll 9 up, unmodified, you can do this again. Question is, can you do this again on the same unit? Again, something for the FAQ, I would say. Yeah, why not? Yeah, so you can give a unit -2 hit. And this is scary against the skeletons. So easily the most scary list, which I see on the top tables here. And we have only talked about his 1600 point list for 180, 1800. He like keeps the Mortis engine, drops the shackles, but adds 2 more Morghast Harbingers. Can't keep in mind which ones are which. The Harbingers are the ones which roll 3d6 for a charge. Okay, they do like 10 damage around this per model, so they are quite scary. Yeah. Okay, and finally he goes up to 4 Harbingers, which are really scary now, and adds the Pendulum. Okay. The first really good list, I would say. The only thing I don't really get is the engine, but besides from that, solid list. So next is Crazy Fish, which plays Tzinch, so our like second chaos list after the Corn one. He has a lot of change. And let's get the Zinsch book up, which is again quite on the bottom of my pile here. He has incorporeal form as his trait. Yeah, -1 to hit in melee, of course. Wellspring of Arcane Might, which is his artifact. Where is it? Arcanite Hero, Zinsch Mortal, Zinsch Demon. Yeah, rerolling once on casts, and Bolt of Zinsch as his spell, which is Bolt of Zinsch. Maybe the D6 one for casting of an 8. Okay, 10 pink horrors, unchecked mutation, and Inferno of Zinsch. Yeah, though they do D3 damage and D3 damage, but have something that they might do a bit more than D3 damage. And he had the unit of 30 Zangors. I quite liked them. Important thing is, I guess their war scroll got updated for the Beast of Chaos, and they must use the updated war scroll, as far as I know. If you think otherwise, please write down in the comments. Because the Zangors in the past were quite scary, and they got a bit of a nerf. He then adds for the first list Shaman and Quicksilver Swords and the Blue Scribes. So 2 chaff units with the pink horrors that do decent amount of mortal wound damage. He has a lot of change, which itself does a lot of mortal wound damage. The Shaman adds to this. The Scribes to get this off like safely, which has the Firestorm, okay, which I don't get. Let's see, isn't it a cast to do this rerolling thing? Yeah, so the Firestorm usually won't be cast because of the reroll, I would say. Yeah, so another really solid list. This could play out quite good, I would say. And he has some summoning, of course, because he will get probably 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, usually 8 points per turn. Next tier, he adds a Gaunt Summoner, which is of course the missing thing here. Like, the Gaunt Summoner is missing because he has to deal with hordes. If somebody kills his Zangors, he has no defense left, so the Gaunt Summoner. And he removes the swords and adds the Pendulum. Okay. And what I'm missing now, of course, is the Spell Portal, which he adds now. And he removes the Pendulum, of course. Okay. Gaunt Summoner, Blue Scribes, Zangor Shaman stay. And he adds an Ogret Thaumaturge. Important is that he only summons not pink horrors, so you can't add another cast with this to your list. Yeah, so the only thing I'm a bit wondering is, like, I would hope to find space in this list for the Curseling because of his great magic dispelling thing, and he can learn spells. Yeah, you can learn the spells, like roll 2 dice, and if it's over the cast value, like usually you try to roll below. No, usually you try to roll over your cast value. So if he sort of casts the spell for this wizard in 24, he learns it. So this is quite scary. Like let's say on Zangors, they get Mind Razor, for example, and yeah. So or like -1, -2 to hit on for the death list. So I would play around with this. But besides from that, another quite solid list, which I would see on the top tables here. And this is it. There are 3 more lists we have to talk about. And the first one is Philip, who was a bit late, one of my locals here. And he plays Zinj with a completely different taste of what we have seen here. He plays a lot of flamers with a battalion, so he usually is 3 drops. I'm just searching for the flamers. Exactly, here we are. So he plays Herald of Zinj on Burning Chariot with rerolls to wound, warlord trait, -1 to hit in melee, and he has the fill up units again on a 2+. Yeah, cast. Then he has 3 burning chariots, which are okay, I would say. They do like 4 damage and another 2, so 6, 7, so 7 damage each. So nothing really to write home about, but they are 160 points. I guess he has to take them because he plays the Warp Flame host. Let's see. No. Exalted Flamer, Burning Chariots. So he plays 1 Exalted Flamer and 2 times the small Flamer squads. I guess they are 160 now. Pink Horrors. Where are the flamers? No, the flamers, they cost like here in the book it still says 200. They got a points reduction to 160, which then makes them good, but they are only 3 of them, and so they have usually 10 attacks, and they do 6 damage each. Okay, so they are in the same area as the chariots. And this is what you usually underestimate. I played against this list, even with my witches. And if you don't pay attention, he like deletes 2 witch units at the start of the game before you do like anything. Because he kills like 15 in each group, and then the rest runs off in battle shock. So you really have to take care that you are out of like 27 inches if he starts, and he, like I said, is usually on 3 drops. But here he's even on 1 drop for the basic list. Let's see. Yeah, he's on 1 drop. So really scary. So you deploy 27 inches away. And hope for the double, but if you deploy 27 inches away, he will give you the first turn. So probably it's a gamble, like put 1 unit up, and say, okay, this is the unit you can delete, and deploy the rest outside. So if he gives you the turn, you run the unit up, and then he really has to kill them. I guess we are always deploying 24 inches away in this tournament. So no possibility for a first turn shot for witches, but for other stuff. What I'm yeah, so in the first game he adds a magister, so then he's at 2 drops, but still. And this is this guy has the spell to add magic dice again to his pool, and another unit of flamers. So okay, he plays the Herald of Change and Burning Chariots, 3 chariots, 3 units of flamers and 1 exalted flamer, and the warp flame host and the magister. So 2 drops. Okay, then next turn he adds flamers again, another unit, and then he adds 2 other units of flamers and has 2 command points in the second game. So this thing really does damage. Like there are 6 units of flamers and each of them does 6 damage. So this is 36 damage at range. And he has a tendency to roll not average usually, which means like there are some rolls that are really good and some rolls that are really bad from my experience. So yeah, this is a really, really scary not melee list. The only thing I'm missing a bit is like chaff. He really can't chaff stuff with this because the flamers, they are not really good for this. You always have to use 2 to 3 units of them. Or you drive up the big chariots, like the burning chariots, to do this. And he knows how to play. So I don't see him like at the top table at the end, but I see him playing for the victory of the whole tournament. If the top table draws or something, he might be there. Okay. And now we have, from my point of view, probably the scariest list in this tournament, which was the first one, which is run by Beastie, who runs 40 skeletons, 2 Morghast Harbingers. The skeletons, of course, with spears, and the Morghast Harbingers, they are the ones that I already forgot again. I could know this if I have memories of like 10 minutes ago. Again, these are the ones that have 3 dice on the charge, okay? And there are another 40 skeletons. They don't have the double pile in and they don't have the +1 to hit here yet. But still quite scary. I would very much like to see the double pile in here somehow. I know with Nagash, 40 skeletons, you are close. But at this point, the Harbingers have some other role here. And they are good at this. But I miss the double pile in, really. I don't know how to fit this in, but I miss it. And for the second list, he then adds it, of course, with the Necromancer. Keeps the skeletons and adds a spell portal for Hand of Dust, of course. Another scary thing, so he can reach over with Hand of Dust and has a 50-50 chance, like deleting your most valuable unit. And for the like small stuff, like huge units, he can deal with the skeleton warriors. And for his last list, he keeps the 40 skeleton warriors, he keeps the necromancer, adds the vampire lord, of course, here we have it, and adds 5 hex wraiths. What are hex wraiths again? 12 unit fly. Okay, these guys. So really a solid list. I don't really know what I would do differently for the last list. You could talk about probably removing the hex wraiths and adding some dire wolves to have some real chaff units, and or removing the skeleton warriors and play some night haunts. But I don't know if this is better, just as ideas what I could see here as a different list. How are these guys called? Grimghast Reapers, I guess. And the Grimghast Reapers are 360, the skeletons are 280, so you're missing like 80 points. So you have 80 points when you remove the Hex Wraiths for Dire Wolves, which costs 60. So works out perfectly. Yeah, 1 unit of Dire Wolves instead of the Hex Wraiths. And Grimghast Reapers instead of one-time skeletons might be an option. But besides from that, really, really good list. I see this as the best list here. Yeah, and just for completion's sake, there is my list, even though, as I said, most likely I won't be able to make it. If I find it. Here. I play Slaughter Queen on Cauldron of Blood. And I have to tell, I have still some work to do. Let's see here. Because this is currently my cauldron, which is like has goofy colors because there's no ink on it yet and no highlights and nothing, so I really want to finish it, and the 2 girls are missing yet, but I'm planning on painting this in the next days. And yeah, this is my general. He has Amulet of Darkfire, since we are not allowed to play with the real artifacts, and I really want to be sure that this general survives. I know there are other people out there that say, okay, go for the reroll in spells or reroll in prayers, but my pick is this. Then he has a Blessing of Cain, so the reroll, so all the important stuff like the 5-up, going from 6-up to 5-up, Feel No Pain, and the rerolls are in one place here. And this is the tough spot because this has a 5-up against mortal wounds. So it's really hard to kill, hopefully. Yeah. Then there is a Witch, which is the first one, the first hack. And it has, of course, the Hagnar ability as General's ability. So rerolling hits always, and yeah, the 5-up, as I talked about it. The first hack has Catechism of Murder. The second has so exploding sixes. Sixes do 2 hits. Sixes on hits do 2 hits. And my curtain moved away. Then there is the second hack that has Sacrament of Blood to move up the turn for 1 unit per turn a bit, especially in turn 1 and 2. This might be important to get off a charge or to get rerolls of hit in turn 2 already. And the last hack has the healing spell for these 3, so this makes the general even more hard to kill. Or if I roll the 1, I can like try to get this repaired. Especially since I might want to like awaken the cauldron early, and I am learning sort of a bit to use the other hack prayers, because each hack can cast 2 prayers per turn, but you can only cast 1 prayer of the book, of course, like of the table that I mentioned here, but each of them has another prayer, and with these prayers they are okay in melee. They are not scary, no, not really, but they are then okay in melee. So if there is in the late game something going on, I usually end up casting 2 prayers per witch per turn, per hack per turn. So I really need them to be at full life. Yeah, and this is why I took the healing. As battle line, I have 30 witch elves, 30 witch elves, 20 witch elves. all with daggers. So all of them usually have 4 attacks. And this is my basic list. For the first game, I add, and this I do always in all games, I add a Medusa with Mindraiser, of course, but it's not Mindraiser that keeps me adding her. It's the Dispel Endless spell thing. This is so bad if somebody puts like a Gravetide or a Palisade in front of your witches and you can't go left and right because now there are like terrain features and you can't pass through. So this is the reason that makes this Medusa like mandatory. She has to be there. And Mindraiser is a nice thing, and if it works, it's really great, but it doesn't work against death currently, and it doesn't work against demons. So the things I fear the most, it doesn't work against, and therefore I don't really see it, Mindraiser. So you could argue to switch to a sorceress of the Dark Elves. And I've thought about this, but I missed the 60 points for adding 10 more guys to sacrifice. Then I probably would switch her out, but 60 points I don't have, so it's the Medusa. I also add in all of my lists 5 hard renders, just because they are amazingly good. Like dropping somewhere where only one hero guards an objective, throwing spears, charging in, or like moving closer to the object on a 4-up, then probably charging in. This is so huge tactically. And I have a second unit in my first list, which I will then drop. And I have in all my lists a command point, because I really fear the shooting or damage in the first round. Mostly shooting or spells like ranged stuff that like not only damages 1 unit of witches but probably 2, and like Philip Lists has this potential, and if I lose 2 units of witches it's a really hard match against him. So I usually want to like make sure for at least 1 I can save, even if it's like if he kills 15 usually the rest runs off. But if I have 1 command points, I have these 15 witches left, and these 15 witches are important, and therefore I need a command point in all my lists. Sadly, I missed 80 points, like to go to a battalion, because like nothing fits together here. Like hard renders don't fit with witch elves, so and switching to the Sisters of Slaughter is not an option because they are more expensive and fill another role a bit. So no, and switching to Life Takers, I don't really like because then I have to go to melee, and this is always a long charge, so you could block me off objectives. Here I have with the hard renders I have a 4-up to go closer, even though without charging. So battalion for now not really an option for me. Yeah. Second list, again the Medusa, again 5 hard renders, again a command point, dropping 5 hard renders, and adding 10 Blood Sisters. This is my shock unit. Usually the only thing I really fear with this list is like the Sequitors or a Star Drake, because possibly I'm not allowed maybe then, because they have a Dispel Scroll 2 to cast Mindraiser, and without Mindraiser I can't kill both, like, or either, and then the game is an auto loss for me, and I really hate this. So I don't hope to play against somebody in the first round. Most likely it's okay, because to pick the guy who competes with you on the top tables in the first match is rather unlikely. So if I get him as an opponent, this is really bad luck. But in the last games, I want to have my Blood Sisters to really work with Star Drakes and Sequitors. Yeah. And therefore, the 10 Sisters. They are just the best option to do mortal wounds or higher end wounds for Sisters. I calculated everything through, all Stormcast options, all Deepkin options. Even like the Henkas, I don't know how they are called in English. The dark elves with the big blades. Even them, but Blood Sisters are by far the best option, and Hegnar like even tilts it more towards Blood Sisters. And for my last list, then it's 20 Blood Sisters. So this is a unit with 40 wounds, which usually has a 5-up, 5-up. So you really have to chew through them, and who does a lot of damage. Like if you could get them to Nagash, they easily kill him. But even a unit of witches does, if I can buff them with the prayers. I don't really plan for spells here. The only thing I usually don't want is like endless spells in my way. So this is my list. As I said, I would say the 2 Zinj lists and the 2 death lists play out the top 2 tables in the end. If I'm coming, I hope to be there with these 4 lists to play for the victory. But let's see. So this is it for today, I would say. I have nothing more to add. Hopefully I can do another show, because in like 1 week, let's see. This tournament is at the 11th through Sunday in Leipzig, but there is another tournament at the 17th in Rostock, which I most likely will attend. And I will play sort of the same list, like the last list, the 2,000 point list, because there are no like smaller lists for the first rounds. And I will do hopefully another review show next week. So I hope to see you there. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.